Thank you, Pia. Nice to meet you, everyone. Today I try not to talk too much about technology, rather about the opportunities for business that the technology is bringing. Since the last few years, many new IoT data communication technologies have emerged, and these are bringing significant opportunities to optimize the existing business and even to create whole new business opportunities. And this is the topic of my speech today. I promised not to make a spare speech, so just a few words about who Digita is, what are we doing. But I'll be talking about how these new low-power, wide-area IoT networks, how do they differ from the current communication networks? What is the new value for business that they are providing? And I'll be showing three business cases where this kind of benefits of this new technology are really, really significant. So just a few words about Digita. Many of you may know Digita as a television and radio broadcast company. That's what we've been doing for the past some tens of years. Since last year, Digita is also an IoT connectivity network provider. We are building and operating a nationwide network in Finland, where we provide means for companies to transmit small data from wide area very effectively. And my speech today is about how does this enable you to create new business or to optimize your existing business. So because of our infrastructure coming from the TV radio broadcast and because of our organization, this new business of IoT network operations, it has been a natural extension to us. And because of that, we have been able to easily provide this new kind of service to our customers. Just a few words about technology. LPWAN, LoRaWAN. There's lots of these kind of acronyms nowadays. What these words mean, low power, wide area networks. This tells pretty nicely what these new IoT data communication networks and technologies about. They have been built to solve the classical problem of devices requiring a lot of power to operate. Traditional solutions have required devices to have gateways close by for them to operate. And these new IoT networks have been built to solve these kind of problems. These networks and the technology, they provide radically better power usage for end devices than traditionally. In a typical case, an end device using this kind of new communication network can operate 5 to 10 years on a single battery. And it's quite easy to see how this changes the game quite significantly in many kind of use cases. You don't need to go and change the battery every month or charge the device every month. You don't need to find the external power source. You install the device, it operates for 10 years. You don't need to touch it. That's a significant change to earlier technology. Another big change in these new IoT networks is due to the fact that they have been built to serve this kind of small data needs. Because of that, they have been built to operate over really wide areas. The communications signal penetrates deep inside the buildings. And these kind of technology improvements are enabling companies to find whole new use cases and to make the existing use cases much more efficient. And this is what I'll be telling a bit more today about. Another common motivation in these new networks is that they have been built to be really simple for the end device point of view. The motivation for that is that in order to get into these billions or tens of billions of IoT devices that everybody is talking about, the end devices need to be really simple, really cheap. They need to operate for tens of years with the battery. Otherwise, we are not really able to go into this world where we are wearing IoT sensors and they are everywhere. And this is what these new technologies are aiming for. So they enable making really cheap, simple, cost-efficient sensoring devices. And typically for these solutions, all the intelligence of the networks, it's in the software, not in the devices, not in the gateways, but in the software level. And because of these, we are able to bring the benefits of the simplicity, cost effectiveness, ease of deployments to customers. So Digita builds and operates this kind of low power, wide area network in Finland. It uses a technology called LoRaWAN. I won't go too much into technology today, but you can find a lot of information on it in the network, and I'll be happy to tell you more about it later on. What's typical for this kind of IoT networks is that they are used to transmit small amounts of data every now and then. We are not streaming YouTube over IoT network, but our end device, it's measuring something every 5 minutes, sending it out into the cloud. That's a typical use case. So why are these kind of new technology-based networks game changers for many businesses? Today, everybody is talking about big data, but I'd like to say that these kind of networks enable collecting the small data. What I mean with small data is simple measurements, whether it's of your equipment, of your infrastructure, of the environment. Simple measurements that we'd like to make, but hasn't really been possible because the earlier technology solutions have been so heavy, so expensive to operate. And with this new technology, this kind of small data can be effectively collected from everywhere. And this is what enables many new kind of business cases. It often acts as an enabler for the innovation, because earlier, in many cases, the innovation is made much harder due to the fact that technology puts so much barriers into implementing solutions, collecting data from the field, from your fleet or from your infrastructure. And with these changes, because those barriers have been made much, much lower, it enables us to innovate much more. We are able to collect all this kind of new data that hasn't been feasible earlier. And this allows us to optimize our business a lot more effectively, or even create whole new businesses based on it. One classical example is being able to transfer your business model from calendar-based to need-based. One even funny example, but very, very indicative example is a connected mousetrap. That may sound really funny, but it's a real business case not from Finland, but from the southern parts of Europe. Why do we want to connect a mousetrap in the cloud? Because right now there are companies going through hundreds of mousetraps somewhere out there every week, every day, just to check if there's something on them. And now, when the mousetrap can send a signal that, okay, now I got that mouse, you don't need to anymore send your workforce going through your fleet or your equipment periodically. You can just send your technician there when it's needed. And this is quite illustrative example, although a bit funny. how this kind of technology can help you change your business model just because it's so much easier nowadays. Another way that these changes in the technology impact the business models and operational models is they often make the rollout of the IoT solution a lot easier. In traditional solutions, you often need to have gateways that somehow connect within the same room or within the same building, connect to your sensors, and the gateway sends the data up into the cloud. One of the benefits of this kind of low-power, wide-area networks is that you don't need the gateway. The sensor has the connectivity built in. It can talk directly into our overall network. Our network gateways are somewhere in the same city. Customer doesn't need to care about this kind of gateways anymore. And that can change the rollout of an IoT solution quite dramatically. Often in my own experience, one of the hardest things in rolling out an IoT solution is the operational side of it. You need to send technicians to install devices, configure those gateways on the field. And getting rid of this can be a significant changer. So this is how a typical IoT solution nowadays looks like. We deploy sensors into buildings. Along with the sensors, we deploy gateways so that we can connect those sensors in the cloud. But what the new technology enables, we don't need those gateways anymore. We can concentrate our efforts on actually deploying the sensors. The sensors are what matters. They provide us the data that we can use our business. The gateways are just the technology that used to be needed, not anymore. I have 3 cases where I highlight the benefits of this technology. Easier energy efficiency in buildings. Energy efficiency optimization there's been such solutions for many years. Why this new technology brings benefits to that business is you don't need to set up this kind of complex gateway systems anymore. You can deploy 1 sensor or 1,000 sensors, and because they talk directly to network, the operational side of the rolling out this kind of solution becomes a lot more easier. With these modern solutions, it's extremely easy to share your data with all your business partners. Many of the traditional solutions are kind of closed systems, but these modern IoT networks, they are built for sharing the data with everyone. These are open technologies. You don't need to tie yourself into a specific vendor 100%. Having open technology can be really important in the long run. Another case example, in many discussions with our customers, we see that customers already have been utilizing this kind of monitoring solutions for many, many years. But quite often, they have only been implemented to a small percentage of the fleet, whether the fleet is machines, infrastructure, environmental monitoring. We'd like to get more data from wider area, but it's been too hard to do that before. And these new solutions often allow extending the data collection from that 20% of your most critical assets to 100% of your assets. And that can allow, it's quite easy how that can allow much better optimization, whether it's for business processes, for equipment, maintenance, whatever. Third example case, tracking. Tracking is old business. Everybody has been doing GPS tracking for many, many years. There's nothing new about it. So the reason I brought this slide here is that Again, this new technology makes it so much more easy, so much more cost-effective, that it helps us to start look at the tracking as a whole new opportunity. In the current solutions, you have a GPS tracking, you have a 4G uplink from your tracker into mobile network. You can maybe run it with a battery for a few days. Typically, you need to have a power source. You need to wire the solution somewhere to get the power in it. It's quite expensive. You can't put it everywhere where you'd like to. But the new solutions, new technology, if it enables you to have a tracker that costs a few euros, it runs for a few years with a battery, it's quite easy to see how this opens up a whole new level of opportunities. Earlier, we were maybe able to track that logging machine because it's damn expensive. But with this new technology, it suddenly becomes realistic to also track that pile of logs. So we don't need to limit our tracking of our assets to just the really high-value assets. We can track almost everything nowadays. And that's a good example of how changes in technology are actually opening up a whole new level of business opportunities for improving your existing businesses or even creating a whole new ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Ari. What do you see, how do you see, is it necessary to be able to track everything?
Well, then we come, of course, to the privacy discussion, which we want to avoid. So, tracking is, you may want to track your dog, you may want to track your pallet that's somewhere out there waiting for the next subcontractor to come and take it. The opportunities are almost endless, but of course the privacy is another discussion.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you very much.